Okay.
Hi, everybody. Last hurrah. Great to see you all on this slightly misty day. I told Gwynn that the sun would be out, and it is. And without further ado, I can't think of a better person to hand off to, as I have, to Gwynn O'Gara. Gwynn?
And I can't think of a better person to be handed something so fabulous as the Cafe Frida Poetry Festival. So let's show Ed some of our appreciation. I remember Ed's series in Railroad Square, at Soko Coffee, on 4th Street, right, in Santa Rosa. Am I missing one? I think I am, but
Briefly Toad in the Hole.
and Toad in the Hole, right? I remember that one. Yeah. So, thank you, Ed. And thank you, Mario and Mamadou Diouf, for welcoming us, keeping us dry and warm and well fed. Thank you, man. All our readers are here, or mostly, and we have 8 readers, and 4 will come up, read, and then we'll have a 15-minute intermission, and the last 4. And I'm going to announce the readers now so you can get impatient. Myself first, Bill Greenwood is going to read second, Rita Losch third, Karl Frederick will round out the first set. After the intermission, Shawna Swetech will come up to the stage and read. Chris Giovachini, is he here? Yeah. Oh, you're Chris Giovachini. Great. Thank you. Hi. Okay. And Susan Lamont is here. And David Madgalene and Steve Shain. I see Steve. So I guess without further ado, we'll start. We'll start up the first Cafe Frida Poetry Festival of 2025. This poem is called The Ladle Maker, and I couldn't figure out where it came from until I remembered I had given away, in the effort to dispossess myself of one thing, a ceramic ladle, handmade. It's just beautiful. And I gave it up because I have a stainless steel one that's bigger and unbreakable. So about a year later, this poem arrived. The Ladle Maker. The ladle maker cries out at night for someone to make soup with roots earth clings to, that brings the grit and tang of the mother to our mouths. Someone who gives hours to the pot, befriending garlic and onions, softening barley and beans as afternoons rain down. An atlas of recipes. Who knows by smell the beets are roasted, by touch the loaf is airy. Who cherishes their portion and ladles out the feast to others. I love driving up and down the California coast. One of my favorite things. And it's one drive inspired this. The Artichoke Sutra. The kelp mothers steer her along milky roads to the bright region inside the fog. Coastal lotuses with stalks like oak saplings shimmer in roads to the sea. While when time was counted in moons, owl-eyed food of goddess and surfer. Glaucous sunflower of stubborn love, cleansing thistle of longevity, chakra of arms and hands. Our first shield also lifts and bears, bountiful as the muscles ringing our shoulders, spine-tipped bracts open. With fervent teeth we scrape the meat, shave the choke to the flower bud we eat. My cousin cups a globe in her hands, scrumptious heart, core of the song. Remembering her sister, she offers it to me. Blood and oil attend. Food of the blossom, hub of the blessing. Such loss in flesh as well as sea, such silence in each song. Teach us how to bear, feed us as we mourn. Welcome, poetry just began. There are dry seats up on the stage. Rosemary. Green, says Rosemary, reciting her green needles without rest, lifting her blue flowers to the cold moon of few bees. Each pointed leaf, a word in a poem about grass, about love, about why we grow, what doesn't kill us, and how we die. Why we remember each dendrite green, why the tea pierces our palate and brain, the fierce perfume of its chemistry, the taste in the mouths of Aristophanes' actors, the recipes of Asclepius, the sharp bite the centaur favored, the blue surprise every season, the altar in our heart where we burn the old wood, the dreams we breathe in the smoke. Holding place. Along rainy alleys, above brandy-soaked shoulders of gregarious flirts, beside saxophone-straddling birdmen, wailing with poetry-addled hepcats, over sourdough pizzas flung to the stars by opium-stained fingers, near cherries weighed by meth heads under dripping eucalyptus, up hills so steep we tiptoe to the top, outside fox dens and foggy morning tennis courts, inside Willie Mae's spiral staircase to the Milky Way, dangling piñatas, spilling grizzly teeth and fool's gold, behind coyotes crossing the Golden Gate at dawn, framing plazas of salt-glazed churches, imperious as opera, around gated prisons and temples, trailers flooded with rust, tailing motorcyclists fleeing dilapidated ranches, shading cousins and bots working strawberries and kale, across dunes, stream beds, and cattle horns scraping red dust, along the telltale coast, smoky with kelp fires and dim sum, in bench, carousel horse, grave marker, mandolin, medicine, spoon in my hand, your puzzle piece bark enchants lost children, O sycamore. My last poem was inspired by an obsession I had over the word cognate, from the same source, born at the same time. And it got so that I'd see digital clocks, 12:12, 7:07, 11:11. I think, oh, it's a cognate moment. Well, all the moments are cognate. So this poem was from that time. Follow the voice inside you, into the high grass, and no matter how much you sneeze or your eyes water and sting, the emptiness of the wild oats, dried white and open, and the intelligence of the rattlesnake grass, layered and wondrous as Persian enamel work, take you into their slope and roots, so you are no longer alone, no longer perishing. Thank you very much. Our next reader is Bill Greenwood. Bill had a career in agricultural development, working in California and overseas, all the while writing and translating poetry. And I hope he's going to read from his new book of love poems. Please help me welcome Bill Greenwood.
Thank you very much, Gwynn. 10 minutes. So I will indeed read from my new book. The background is that just over 100 years ago, in the south of Chile, Ricardo Eliezer Neftali Reyes Basualto wrote 20 love poems and a song of despair. His name is a compelling prima facie case for why he adopted a pen name. So the world knows him ever since by his pseudonym, Pablo Neruda. He had his 20 love poems published in 1924 when he was still a teenager. Well, I haven't been a teenager for over 50 years, but my chapbook is something of a reimagining of his book. Mine has an afterword that explains how it developed, so I won't dwell on that now, except to say that these poems are a tribute to my wife of 33 years. To begin at the beginning, dedication. May these artesian words come buoy you, wrapped in the angel's wings that brought me straight to your heart, from mine of which now you cannot escape, like light from the universe once set free. Here's a courtship poem from A Walk in the Meadow. Spontaneous combustion. We made our way across a meadow. Wind blew through tall grass like water. Wild iris tightly hugged the ground beneath the waves. My fingers kayaked fjords between yours, circling your wrist, coursing a full arm's length to skirt this brand new continent. My braille tongue moved the way the sea does with the shore. Then contradicted all the laws of physics and combusted. We used to live on the East Coast, and our birthdays, which are one day after the other, come at the end of winter. And one of our favorite places to spend those few days was on the coast of North Carolina. Proof at the Outer Banks. Boa tight, your contours mirror this bronze and this copper and blood orange sand. Your pulse connects the spiraled cochlea inside my inner ear to the fact of your heart. I offer this circuitous proof of our love. A pelican pulls one steady wing apart from the other and back together again. Here's a poem written to celebrate our 10th anniversary. It was kind of a recasting of our vows. Pledge. My eyes wide to read your every line, my cascading sight to deciphering your body language. My spooner hands to your offering shoulders, the arc of your arms' sweet lock keyed to mine. My prehensile feet to wander like moccasins, the length of your legs under cover of night. And my lips undumbfounding to your love, my daily bread. Your whole wheat baking in the fires of my heart. The next poem stems from the fact that, as Gwynn mentioned, I spent a lot of my work life away from home for periods of anywhere from a week to a month at a time. Difficult time away. First singer. Into the worlds we are apart for weeks on end. My empty-handed longing seems the open sea, a bottomless net. But no matter the distance from the lute in my mind to your piano hands, my two fold each other in an act of prayer, where I purse lone words, nurturing them into small schools of thought, and with these lace a map to your heart. We were occasionally able to spend some wonderful time at some magnificent places. This one is from a few days at the Caribbean island of St. Lucia. Caribbean listing. We float on blue trade winds, suspended by the hammock strings of our good fortune. A cocoa palm curves into backdrop sky. Canary yellow goldfinch effervesce about the crown's inverted basket of lime-colored fruit. Green fronds clack their herringbone fingers. A hummingbird rustles the passion flower vine. I starboard list alongside your port. as we tie up. Flying fish set sail. And how could a selection of love poems go without a poem about octopus love? When we leave the vertical world behind and slide between sheets of cool water, our twosome reconfigures arms with legs to 8 invertebrate limbs made of muscle. Elastically, they wrap each other, flexing and reflexing until we snap into place. Firing neurons, synapse in our suction cupping skin. And everything we think imprints in colored ink. And I'll close with the last poem in this little book. Neruda ended his 20 love poems with a song of despair. That may have been appropriate for a teenager, but it never set quite right with me. I end with a song of hope. Dawn comes in the kitchen window, bud break green out of the naked maple. Steam rises from the wooden fence, like a blessing following the light. May such good fortune once again befall me that I see our round world turn another day, to wake up by your side. How do I thank the stars for dropping squarely in the luck of my 2 hands? Oh, you apple of these eyes, who from the whorls of my fingers conjures lines of praise and psalms of song. So we have copies on sale. So if you're in love or want to be, I recommend this as a good tool.
Our next reader is Rita Losch. No, Rita Losch. Rita Losch, my bad. Rita Losch. And Rita trusts you will find her work accessible, amusing, and even a wee bit absurd. Please welcome Rita Losch.
The ink is still wet on this one. This is called Hammock Horizontality. I'm the kind of person who never relaxes. In seaside snapshots of me at age 3, my hands in perpetual motion are a blur. My childhood barber always told my mother that I had ants in my pants, could not sit still. I've squirmed and fidgeted all my life, on edge and edgy, worked up and overwrought, on pins and on needles, tense and intense, wired and high-strung, usually in a bit of a tizzy. I can't even spell the word R-E-L-A-X. Oddly enough, though, I've always considered myself a good sleeper. I fall asleep promptly, travel in dreamland at least 8 hours a night, and wake up feeling rested. Sleeping is my hobby and my safest escape. In my avoidant mode, I can easily snooze for 12 hours. I've hibernated even in high summer. during the dog days of August. Catching 40 winks, I can take a cat nap in a room full of rocking chairs. I can grab some shut-eye even with my eyes open. Any time of day, I can hit the hay, hit the sack. Even on a bad night, I can get a good night's sleep. I sleep like a rock. I've snoozed through nearby wildfires, emergency alarms, and neighbors banging on my door. I would have dozed my way through grammar school if my good-natured, long-suffering mother had not bulldozed me out of my pink bed every morning. The alarm clock is not my friend. Allergic to dawn, I far too often get up on the wrong side of bed, rising but hardly shining. I do think of myself as a good sleeper, even though I've been told I thrash about in my sleep yelling, "Get out of here!" I guess that makes me a dangerous sleeper, though I slumber right through it all in my stupendous, stupid stupor. My beauty sleep sometimes turns ugly. I must admit, I do indeed have recurrent galloping runaway nightmares of being deprived of privacy or being lost in a dark city waiting for a bus that never arrives. And I do have bad dreams where I twist in guilt, remorse, self-doubt, and fear, an escapee from responsibility, a phantom imposter about to get caught. Despite all that, I remain convinced that I sleep just fine. I'm not an insomniac, a narcoleptic, or a somnambulist. But when my doctor listed the potentially lethal effects of not breathing while sleeping, I agreed to submit to a sleep study. Shocked when informed that I woke up 41 times an hour, which was diagnosed as severe obstructive sleep apnea, I now begrudgingly wear a suffocating CPAP mask attached to a wheezing bedside machine. But enough of this long, speedy sleep introduction. I'm putting myself to sleep. So let me now get to the point, the hammock. At those rare and precious times when I have carefully loaded myself into a hammock, I feel an immediate, exquisite transformation into a state that must be what they call relaxation. Embraced by or entrapped in the net cocoon of the hammock under a blue sky with soft cottontail clouds, I caress the fleece of fluffy sheep. I have no choice but to surrender to gravity, to give in, to give it all up, to simply be in my body, still and happy. Even better, my busy mind goes peaceful, quiet, placid, tranquil. I can stop pedaling and coast for a while. Free associating from delight to delight, I am floating. My hard head becomes a velvet pleasure dome, an inflated bouncy house in fairyland. I've slept on or in a variety of beds in my day, in the cradle, crib, and barred playpen, in plaid, flannel-lined mummy bags on squeaky camp cots, in upper and lower bunk beds, on hissing air beds, on sleepover pull-out trundle beds, on Castro convertible soft beds and hide-a-beds and Barcalounger recliners, on no-nonsense futons or impossibly thin tatami mats, on tufted mattress and box spring sets, on sloshing hippie water beds, threatening to spring a leak, up a ladder in IKEA loft beds, on both Tenderloin and Twin Peaks pull-down Murphy beds, on cheap foam slabs or ritzy top-of-the-line feather beds. I've spent the night in twin, queen, king, and California king beds. I've left my chewing gum losing its flavor on the bedpost overnight. I could probably sleep on bedrock in a riverbed or on sharp shards in an oyster bed. I've slept itchy under scratchy woolen blankets or guilty under loud, homely, hand-crocheted Afghans, or quiet under quaint quilts, or crawling below chenille caterpillar bedspreads. I've luxuriated under and upon 1,500 thread count percale sheet ensembles and giggled between cute Hello Kitty sheets. In theaters, I've received offers to be sewn to my sheet. Shown to my seat. I've done my share of sleeping around. I've never shared a marriage bed, though I've engaged in plenty of pillow talk and candy apple red, heart-shaped beds in honeymoon suites. I've snuggled, I've cuddled, I've often tossed and turned, praying for long nights to turn to day with my getaway car idling outside. I've spent some nights on a psychological bed of nails. My life has not been entirely a bed of roses, but there's something about a hammock. On a new spring day, it's a fresh air, sunlit womb. It's an opportunity to be held up, not robbed, but supported. Wrapped in that hammock's rapture, I can find some relief from carrying this bulky burden of myself while maintaining my tentative balance in this unfortunate human verticality. Marrying myself in my tropical matrimonial rainbow hammock, my coat of many colors, I can sleep like a baby. Finally, I can rockabye, lullaby my inner baby. Cradled in that hammock, I can let go of my fear of falling, since I'm already down and out. I can rock and I can roll. In that sling, I can swing. I can swing low in that sweet chariot of a hammock. Twisted and tightly wound, I can come undone. Like a happy U-shaped smile suspended between twin maple trees, I finally get a break from trying to seem graceful and confident, strolling or strutting around, denying that I am merely an upright chimpanzee who'd much rather be lumbering along on my knuckles. In that heavenly hammock, now I lay me down to sleep. No need to wake up, little Susie. Rest fast asleep, slow asleep. Sleep tight, sleep loose. Snuggling in that hammock, I don't need a down comforter or Janis Joplin's Southern Comfort. Comfortable and comforted at last, my complex compound cranium can finally rest. I can finally spell RELACKS, writing easy poems about napping in a hammock.
Let's all pretend we're in a hammock right now, out in the sun, by the beach. Thank you, Rita. Our next reader is Karl Frederick, who spends his time taking long walks, thinking, writing poetry, and helping to keep the doors of the bookstore Many Rivers open. Please help me welcome Karl Frederick.
Just a little. That's good. Thanks. Wow. Welcome. I almost didn't come because of the rain. We all must be reading to each other, I guess. I got to thinking about, do I have a theme or something like that in what I brought today? And I came up with a word where it came to me, preoccupations. So, think about that. I have one request to the audience. I really enjoy applause at the very end. If you leave a little time between poems, it allows an opportunity to savor them. Hopefully they're worth savoring. An afternoon daydream. In an open cloud, wings wavering, falling through dreams into a moment, forever, still. This, he knew, was the beginning of the beginning, the prelude to the real work that waited out of mind, out of sight, beyond everything but the quest of the pen, restless across blank paper into which the future had begun to impress itself, as the meandering blue line described an account of a future formed and finished, waiting only for the call to life. I'm going to wax a little political from time to time. They are losing their country, their rights, freedoms, hopes. Piece by piece, the demolition proceeds apace while crowds gather, dumbstruck, mumbling on the street corners, waiting for the next skyscraper to fall. The edifice of dreams crumbles, one brick at a time. The message. I came across a thought today. It caught me by surprise. It glistened first, then spoke to me as if my wondering eyes were not enough to take it fully in. Amidst the sparkle and the shine, there came a somber tone that penetrated deep within. It struck me to the bone. It was as if a memory dear had roused from lengthy sleep. It whispered to an inner ear of matters rich and deep. I cannot say just how I knew the words were meant for me. They were so brief, so very few. I could not fail to see the message struck, so bold and clear. Now love it all, despite your fear. I will not apologize for the rhymes. Sometimes it just feels right. I wonder why life can't be easier. Then I remember, this is Earth. This is not the picnic planet. If I wanted a picnic without ants, I got off the bus at the wrong stop. But I didn't. I knew what I was getting into. I knew I'd forget, and did it anyway. I'm running on faith now. I need to suck it up. Invite the ants and the other critters. Open the basket. Share the potato salad. Make it a picnic anyway. Refugee camp, August 2024. I watched the TV news from somewhere in Sudan. A mother huddles with her 6 small children who sit quietly erect, uncomplaining. Her eyes are downcast, weeping as she speaks her grief in hushed tones to another woman, an earnest white correspondent who holds a microphone. The small family has not eaten in 4 days, fleeing the war that found them, that took the father, and soon they take them all. For a silent moment, the reporter holds the mother's hands, joins her in knowing the terrible truth that none of us will do anything but weep and love and carry on. Letting go. To let go of resistance to everything in one fell and forever swoop seems too much. How long could that single, fragile decision prevail against the power of the world? That fierce grip in which you have struggled a lifetime to make of yourself what you are. When ironclad destiny relaxes just enough, turn, look in the mirror, ask, Who and what is this? Take on the challenge. Draw a full breath into the person you have always been. Abandon your thoughts of becoming. Accept the shining one you are. Maybe. Wait a minute. Please, will someone just stop talking over everyone else and start listening? Maybe first to the wind in the trees where the upper branches sway and leaves rustle. See how they move? They don't go every which way. Every branch, twig, and leaf is part of the tree in its dance. Do you think maybe we could be half as willing as the leaves? Listen to the wind, whisper to each other, I'm with you, and ride out the coming storms together? Tracking, as if in a dream, hold a silver key, follow red footprints to a locked room you can't remember. Open the door, see the floor, crimson, and the bare spot in the far corner. There the brush and the paint and the shoes left carefully aside. Feel the shiver along your spine. Look at your feet. This one is written to the community I live in at Burbank Heights and Sebastopol. You inspire me. You do it so simply, so easily. I bet you don't realize how floored I can be when you speak of unremitting aches and infirmities, then go on blithely with your lives as if the assaults of time and gravity are only an inconvenience. What do I have to complain about? Nothing. On the other hand, looking down the short road, I wonder when I'll be tested, how I'll respond. Will I brag or bitch about my infirmities? Perhaps afraid to admit my days of reckoning are here. I'll stare straight ahead, lips pursed, mute. This is going to be an echo of one of Gwynn's poems. This tea, what a blessing. Wait a moment. Let it arrive gently. Catch the fragrance, slopes of a distant mountain, gift of 1,000 ancestors. Be still. Let the tea steep you. Savor this slowly circling eddy in the river of your uncontrollable life. So I'll finish with this one. What is there to think, to say, to do? In this storm, take quiet counsel with your heart. Feel the fear and the fire. Trust the voice that whispers, this too will pass. Hold firm to the good, the true, and the beautiful. Keep the faith. Stay the course. Thank you.
Thank you, Karl Frederick. All right, let's have an applause for our first set. And I'll see you. We'll adjourn in 15 minutes, which will be about 5 after 2. So we're doing good, time-wise.